am in fears. I am not able to understand how to deal with all those fears. And it is the most difficult thing is that I have to see people around me dwelling into the same fears just like me. And the biggest fears are still there, and no one is talking about them. No one tries to help other person to deal with these fears. Do you know what fears am I talking about? There are 3 fears I'm going to talk about in this video. And if you like to hear and understand them better or how to deal with them, stay tuned till the end of this video. And make sure to subscribe to this channel and make sure to hit the notification bell so that you will receive all the notifications for upcoming videos, and make sure to watch all of them sometime in your life. So I am Kirti, Energy Alchemist. I help empath people to take small steps to transform their lives from minor or major anxiety, loneliness, confusion, sadness, and depression to live a peaceful and happy life, so that they can bring peace into their life easily. I know it sounds a little big thing that we all have fears. Fears are a part of our being, and I have been doing a small research about adverse childhood experiences on the personality as an adult. But while studying about them psychologically, I came to understand that we all, as moms or dads or parents or caretakers, we all instill some kind of fears into our child's mind, because we all need to have a little bit of fear to do something better. Fears or confusion is good when it is at a lower level, but when the fears go higher and higher, it can create problem in your life or in the child's life, right? So what are these fears that people deal with every day and are not able to understand how to break them down, how to deal with them? Actually, they have to go through all these fears each and every day, and still they are not able to understand how to deal with them. Actually, no one talks about these fears, big fears, massive fears, and forget about reading or studying about the steps to heal them, to deal with them. There are people who are not ready to heal themselves. Why? Because something stops them, and they are not able to cross that limit. They are not ready to deal with that fear of healing, of being happy in all the moments, no matter what. So when we talk about fears, what comes to your mind? Fear of darkness. When I go to a dark place or an isolated room, dark room, or an alley, and I have a fear about someone is watching me, someone is there, right? This kind of fear is intense. It has been instilled into us since childhood, and we need to deal with it. Really, when my son was a little boy, he was scared of darkness, and he didn't used to go into the next room, across the room, and just because it is dark. And how did I deal with it? I just needed to deal with it. He have to stay in a dark room sometime in his life. So what I did was I asked him to deal with his fears one step at a time. I stand in a dark room and ask him to cross the space between the two rooms and ask him to go to the next room only till its door. And at first he was scared, but then he went there and run back. He was scared, right? Then I asked him after a few minutes to go and get inside the room. He did it and then came running after me, for me. Then I asked him to go inside and stay there for a few seconds and deal with the fear. It is so important to deal with any fear, really. So, what he did was he went into the room, stood there, and stayed there for a few minutes, and then come slowly to me and said, Mom, I can go to a dark room. And now, right now, he is sleeping in a dark room all on his own. So, how we deal with the fears is important. So, the three biggest fears, I'm not going to blab about anything else. Three biggest fears people deal with every moment, not every day, but every moment. There is this biggest failure or biggest fear that we deal about, and the third one is massive and we don't know how to deal with it. So stay tuned till the end to understand what is the biggest fear. The third one is the biggest, and make sure to subscribe now, right now, to this channel and hit the notification bell. So moving on to our fears, what is the first big fear that you can't live without? Yes, you are not letting it go actually. That's why you make it a friend. I don't know why. The first fear is failure. Really? Yes, we talk about it all the time. The fear of failure is so intense that people usually get to a depressed moment symptoms and try to suicide sometimes because of it. Yes, it is that intense. Fear of failure, fear of getting failed after trying a few times to get the success, and the fear of failure, of failing again and again and again. People get so depressed that people around them are not able to diagnose them or understand if they are depressed or not. People think that this person is just hacking out and just trying to get the success with failures. They pinpoint the person by telling them that they are not reaching to the success level. Instead of this, if you are the person who is dealing with failure each and every day, make sure to connect to a person who is professional enough to talk to you without any judgment. Secondly, make sure to let the people who pinpoint you saying that you are a failure, let them pinpoint you and do not listen to their things. Just because they can't took the steps you are taking, they think that you are a failure. Just because you are not able to achieve your biggest goal right now, they think that you are a failure. Just because you are not able to fulfill their dreams or their desires or their expectations. We talk about expectations in the last video and you can find it somewhere here. So just because they are not able to deal with their expectations and think that you are a failure because you are not able to reach to their expectations, you are not a failure. Keep it in mind and write it down right now. I am a success. I am successful person. Write all the words opposite to failure. This is the first way to deal with the first fear of failure. The biggest fear. Oh my God, I do that. I just get confused while talking on the camera. So this is the biggest fear that people usually take themselves down to depression or to a level where they just give up. I had been trying to reach $1 million successful business for past 10 years, and I am not ready to give it away because that's my passion. Healing you, helping you is my passion. Whenever a person says, "You saved my life, you helped me so much, you are a blessing," that only gives the vibrations of being a successful person. No matter what people say around me, I will keep going on. And that's why I'm right here, right now, asking you to motivate yourself to keep going on to whatever you like, whatever you love, whatever you want to do. What is success depends upon you. If success means feeling that happiness, feeling that happy feeling when someone compliments you for your health, that's a success for me. That's the biggest success, more than $1 million business. Really, seriously. So if you want to reach $1 million business, or if you want, your success point is to get a big project for your firm or for wherever you are working or whatever, you want to reach there, you have to take minute, small steps right now. And if you will keep listening to that sound saying, "You're a failure, you can't reach to my expectations," you're not going to reach to this level. You have to start here, to the lowest point, and run and walk and run and walk and walk and walk and walk, slowly climbing this mountain to this level. Seriously, each day refine yourself. Let them say whatever they want. They are here to judge you. They are here to force you. It is up to you. What do you want to do? Do you want to be a failure, really? Be in fear, live in fear of being a failure, or you want to take minute steps according to your energy and reach to that level. Whenever I go on a complimentary call with my clients, future clients, I ask them, "Do you want to stay stuck right here at the lowest point, or do you want to refine yourself and reach there? Do you want to drive a little small Maruti car or reach to the Lamborghini? Where do you want to go?" It's up to you. And you decide your success. No one else can decide it for you. So this is the way to eliminate the fear of failure. You just hit that bell. Tish. You just kick the off failure. So that was the first fear, biggest fear of human being. Let's talk So the second biggest fear, the second life-threatening fear of human being is, think of it, isolation. We have been through it. Oh my God, 2020 is COVID. We had to stay in isolation. And you don't believe that due to this isolation thing, there were more suicides, more deaths than COVID, than coronavirus. There were far more depressed people because they were not able to deal with isolation. And if you think on in my way, spiritual way, or refining your soul way, you will understand that 2020 had been a year, or the coronavirus had been a pinning point or a refining point for us to deal with all the things we have not been thinking about. Nature, dealing with smog and all the pollution, and dealing with isolation, being alone, because we are party people. We need to go to party, to meet our friends, to be in office each and every day. Oh my God, I don't go to party. I want to. So no, party not every day, but every weekend, right? Or every fortnight. So we all want to do that, and suddenly the doors were closed. We were asked to stay inside our homes and not to go out. Oh my God. You won't believe people are more busier inside their homes because they are trying to deal with it and they don't know that they are depressed because being isolated. When you turn yourself and deal with isolation, that is the biggest fear. People are fearful of being isolated, being left alone. If you talk about isolation in simple words, it is left alone. What would you do if you are left out on an island, isolated island, where there's no person, there's no one, but you have a house and good thing, everything to eat and everything? People feel that they need someone. And when you start dealing with isolation thing, when you start slowly dealing with isolation and being alone, you start dealing with your own self in a better way. You start on working on yourself, instead of focusing on what people are saying about you. When you deal with the fear of isolation, being alone, being lonely, or being left out, far more problems are solved. Your depression will be going to the dip down into a digging well. What am I saying? Whatever. Your fear of being left alone. If someone leaves you, you will be like, okay, maybe you need to go. Maybe you need to leave me. Just like that. So dealing with your fear of isolation is big, but how to start? Here is the step to deal with the second fear. But before that, make sure to subscribe right now. Click it now. Click it now. How to deal with the fear of isolation? It starts with the simple step, with the minute step which I talk about to all my clients. I had been talking about for 14 years or so and actually doing it. Whenever you feel that you get that fear of isolation or left alone or a loneliness or left out, when people are not listening to you, you feel low, that is the time when you need to stop right there, sit in a lonely place, in a lonely room, and deep breathe. Just keep deep breathing. After few deep breaths, your head might start feeling lighter and might vibrate, might feel like loosening up. And that is how you release that fear. Every time you feel that someone is going to leave you or your life is dependent on something or someone and that person or that thing is going to be away from you, that is the moment when you go into solitude. You go alone and start deep breathing. That is going to help you. Nothing is going to help you. No help is going to come to your way unless you start this way. And then your second step is to go to a professional and work with them. Ask for help that you are feeling lonely, you are feeling sad, you are not able to let this fear go away. If you feel that dense, then do it. Go to a professional. That is how we deal with the second biggest fear of isolation. So we talked about two till now. The fear of failure, and the second one is the fear of isolation, being left out, right? The third biggest, huge, humongous, oh my God, huge, massive, humongous. What else can I say? Fear. And I have to silence. I have to go into a little drowny face instead of smiling. fear of death. Yes, human being is daily dealing with this biggest fear, that is fear of death. I have to shout it loud, fear of death. Can you hear me? Loud and clear? Can you hear me loud and clear? That every day people go through a fear that is called death. What if my loved one will leave me or die, actually? What if now we are dealing with this massive fear right now? What if my loved one or me, I am going to get the virus attack and might die? What will happen to my child? What will happen to my family? Or what if I met with an accident and die? What will happen? Oh my God. Every day, one thought comes to your mind talking about death of yourself or someone else. Seriously. And my fear went away when my father died after being on ventilator for 13 days in hospital, and he died. He died. We all prayed for him. Not only we, our family members, our extended families, but whole country or somewhere around the world. I have posted on all the Facebook groups related to healing, prayer groups, and talked about it into Reiki groups. Everyone, he had been prayed for in temples, mosques, churches and gurudwaras, and you can't estimate how much he had been prayed for, and still he died. We all cried. We all lost our faith on God or all these modalities of healing. But what I did is, after 1 month of his death, I start reading how I can connect to him. I dealt with that fear like this. I started reading what happened after death. I started reading about death more and more often. And recently, when Sadhguru, if you don't know about it, when Sadhguru launched his book, Death, I said, I already know about it. I had been through death moment for minute seconds, and I actually talked about it on my Facebook page, I think, on my personal profile with my family or friends, but I will be talking about somewhere in future. So I dealt with death, and you have to deal with this fear as well. Whenever you feel that you or someone close to you are going to die, what is going to happen? Nothing. Everyone just cries, feel lonely for a few months, and then keep going on to their daily task. It just stays here. And how you want to keep it is upon you. Do you want to keep it as a grief and stay with grief forever, which will turn into bipolar or depression or more severe psychological mental problems? Or do you want to deal with it? Do you want to deal with that grief and move on to a better level where you will love and miss that person, or let go of the feelings of being dead, what will happen thing, or you want to stay with the grief? It's upon you. What do you want to do? So dealing with this fear is massive. You need to know, you need to have tools, you need to make up your mind that death is essential as birth. When someone dies, then only someone is going to take birth on this earth, right? Secondly, you need to find out a few things or people whom you can't live without. your child, your spouse, your parents, your siblings, your friends, your best friend, and even your favorite things like your tools. If you are a writer, your books. If you are a healer, crystals or candles, whatever you do, you have some kind of love for your tools, right? So each and every day, start thanking God. Start thanking God to open your eyes and see them. Thank you, God, that I'm alive. I wake up this morning, and thank you for protecting me and my family. Each and every day when I wake up, I thank God that my son is sleeping right there. My mom is alive, right? Because I lost my father and I know how does it feel. Every morning I thank God for people who are right there in front of me, and things. If I love my mobile, I will say, I love my mobile, thank you so much for keeping it safe. Or if I don't have crystals right here right now, but if I love crystals, I will say, thank you for keeping my crystal safe. I mean, you have to be in tune with gratitude, and that is how you are going to deal with this. This is the massive fear. If you deal with the fear of death, anyhow, at any level, that minute level, you are going to boom your life. You are not going to be fearful of fighting any fights. Believe me, and note it down. Seriously, this whole video is just stop it right there. If you want to deal with any fear, this biggest fear is going to rock your life. You have to start nailing step to deal with this fear. Once you did, you just rock your world. Anyone around you won't feel that you did something wrong, or you won't care for anyone else because you dealt with the fear of death. So in this video, we talked about 3 massive fears which are killing you actually. The first one was, what was it? Tell me in the comments below. What was the first fear? Right now. The fear of failure. Second one was the fear of, what was it? Write it down. Comment below. The fear of isolation. The fear of being left out. Fear of being alone. The third, the massive, the humongous, the hugest fear is the fear of death. Oh my God. How do you deal with these fears? It's up to you. And how are you going to let the help come to your way? May it be angels, may it be God, may it be ascended masters whom you work with, or may it be a psychologist or counselor who can help you out to deal with these fears. It's up to you. How are you going to deal with them? Make sure to comment below and let me know, how are you going to deal with your fears, these big fears which are actually killing you before death. How are you going to deal with them? Make sure to comment below right now if you're watching it till this point. And enjoy your life, have fun, break all the fears away. Just break them away. Okay, so live in light, enjoy your life, and make sure to stay tuned for the next video. Live in light.